Thank you. Please, sit down. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Flipside. I'm Michael Loftus. Here we go. Hurricane Katrina. Old news? Not so fast, my friend. A few years ago, a hurricane hit New Orleans. It was a huge bummer, because I love New Orleans. There's no place like it in the world. It's like God said, what would happen if I took a French guy and a hillbilly and smashed them together? That's how he made Cajuns right there. Ooh, we gonna do some fishing tonight. We got crawdad, alligator there, that spicy guarantee. I can't feel my lips no more. Hurricane Katrina was a disaster. People lost their houses, their savings. It was horrible. But never fear, the government was going to fix everything. In fact, the government spent $127 billion, that's billion with a B, to fix everything. Did it work? Of course not. This is the government we're talking about. If the government actually fixed things, they'd go out of business. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay, so New Orleans gets all that money, and there's still people who have no houses. There's parts of the city that look like the hurricane just hit yesterday, and there's no help in sight. To this day, okay? Not to mention that $700 million just went completely missing. I don't know how that happens. How do you lose $700 million? It's not like a set of car keys. You're like, gee, where did I put that 700? Honey, have you seen the 700 million? I looked in my jacket. It's not there. My point is this. You can't count on the government. You can't count on them to pay your bills or educate your kids. You can't count on the government for anything except to waste your money or regulate your choices in environmentally friendly undergarments. Oh, and they can lie to you. They're really good at that. The government runs the education system, and most kids now can't even spell learnin'. You had to think about it. All right. But I do know this. If something was broken and I paid somebody $127 billion to fix it, it better get fixed. I mean, if you took all that money and put it directly into the accounts of the people who lived in New Orleans when the hurricane happened, they'd all be hundreds of thousands of dollars richer. Yeah, and you know what those people would have done with that big pile of do-re-mi? They would have moved from New Orleans, because that place was pretty jacked up there at the end. They wouldn't have moved. They would have stayed because they loved it right there, right? And there would have been some serious Beverly Hillbillies things going on, right? Each Cajun would have had his own space shuttle, you know? It would be up on blocks, of course, but still, they'd be living large. Like, check me out, I'm going to the moon. I'm going to put my foot on the gas. I'm going to party with Neil Armstrong. If you spent $127 billion on New Orleans, it should be the most awesome city ever. That city should have like spinning rims and free beer for everybody until they develop something that's better than free beer. I tell you, when that hurricane hit, I got so hungry I had to eat my dog's leg. But now, thanks to the government money, I bought him a crazy robot leg that lifts automatically. It's moisture sensitive, and now he's happy as a dog with a leg. I could do this voice all day long. I just might. New Orleans is a shining example of why big government just doesn't work, okay? Attention, liberals. You can't trust the government to build a wall that keeps the streets dry, but you trust them with your health care? That's bananas, all right? Here's what I want to know. Who was in charge of all the money? Where did it go? We actually tried to get Ray Nagin, the former mayor of New Orleans, on our program to explain it, but turns out they don't have Skype in federal prison. Yeah, right? That dude is serving a 10-year sentence for bribery and money laundering. I know, it is like shocking. What? Are you telling me that a government official is using taxpayer money for personal gain? No way! So what do? Here's a novel idea. Maybe reduce taxes in New Orleans and make it easy for people to get their businesses going. Yeah, thank you. Look at that. That's the big idea. Not more government, less government. That's the key. I know it sounds crazy, but when government gets out of the way, cities and businesses actually thrive. I mean, ask Detroit how big government's been doing for them. I'm sorry, you can't, because they don't have phone service right now. Or maybe we should ask Chicago how those gun laws are working out. Oh, I'm sorry, we can't. Their phones were shot by criminals with guns who don't obey gun laws and don't like phones. Government doesn't solve problems. The government throwing around money doesn't solve problems. Just ask anybody in New Orleans. And I am sorry if I'm saying it wrong. I know it's New Orleans. I can't say it right. The people there are very uptight about it. They're like, it's New Orleans, New Orleans, like you're choking on a peanut, New Orleans. The only other town like that is Louisville, Kentucky. Louisville. Sounds like a dog has something treed. Louisville. I'd like to get someone from New Orleans against someone from Louisville on the Wheel of Fortune, right? That would be a long day of taping. It'd be like, yeah, Van, I think I'd like to solve the puzzle. Take your money. I don't know what you said. But hey, you're not watching the Wheel of Fortune. You're watching the Flipside with me, Michael Loftus. Stick around. We have got a great show. It's unbelievable. Thank you so much.
Questions without answers. Is Mother Earth a single mom?